Milorganite is a naturally derived, slow-release nitrogen fertilizer that's released from the wastewater treatment process in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Microbes eat that organic matter, and once they've had their fill, then they're kiln dried, put into a bag, and that's processed as Milorganite. No kidding, it's manufactured from the Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewage District, uses those naturally occurring microbes to digest the nutrients from the wastewater. After the organic matter has been consumed, the clean water is returned to Lake Michigan, and the resulting material is dried and marketed as Milorganite. So it's basically a pile of Just kidding, it's not. They even have an answer to this in their frequently asked questions on their website. It literally says, is Milorganite poop in a bag? Now, when they heat dry these, they cook them to 900 to 1200 degrees Fahrenheit, which obviously kills any of those microbes or any of the other matter that's in there. Now, because people like us want to have a nice looking yard, Milorganite's actually been in short supply lately because their natural resources are limited, as they say. Whatever the people in Milwaukee are eating, they should probably be eating more of it because we like Milorganite. Now, they offer Milorganite in 32-pound bags. It used to be in a 36-pound bag, but what they found is the nutrient quality of the product has actually gone up, so they're able to offer the same nutrient value still in a 32-pound bag now, which is good. Give you the same effect by giving you a 32-pound bag instead of a 36-pound bag. Now, the good news is the 32-pound bag still covers 2,500 square feet of lawn, just like the 36-pound bag used to. Now, the NPK value of Milorganite is 640, which guarantees it contains at least 6% nitrogen, 4% phosphorus, and less than 1% potassium. It also contains 2.5% of a non-staining iron, which is good. Grass likes iron, it'll turn the grass green. If you don't know what fertilizer NPK means, I made a nice video talking all about what NPK is on fertilizer, how to use that, and calculate for how much you need for your yard, and that video is right here. A great thing with Milorganite is it has no expiration date. Seasonal temperature fluctuations are not going to affect its overall quality or effectiveness either. Obviously, you want to keep it out of reach of children and animals unless you want them playing with poop-eating bugs that are now dead after being kiln dried. Speaking of that, what do you do if your dog or cat eats it? They may be attracted to it after you lay it down. Well, they tell you there's no serious concern or cause to panic. You may still want to contact a vet, but your animal should be just fine. Now, does Milorganite smell like a bag of poop? They say once you lay it down, it might have a little bit of an earthy aroma, but watering it in should help with that and it should dissipate pretty quickly. So, is Milorganite organic? Yes. Fertilizers derived from organic sources are composed of nutrients from living things, like microbes, animal waste, plants, things like that. It's a slow food for plants. Organically derived fertilizers are going to build those plants slowly and help them build structure. Organically derived fertilizers are going to contain no chemical salts which can burn plants. That's a big deal. You can't burn your grass using Milorganite. On the other hand, synthetic fertilizers are basically fast food for plants. They're manufactured using inorganic materials and have a higher chance of burning your grass, leaching, and causing bad runoff. Now, Milorganite's not going to kill weeds. It's strictly a fertilizer. No herbicides or pesticides are added to kill weeds or bugs. But using it should lead to a healthier, thicker lawn, which will help keep out weeds. Milorganite also doesn't contain any grass seed. It can, however, make spreading grass seed a little easier. As you noticed in my pre-germination video where I had all that damp grass seed, had I mixed a little Milorganite in there, it probably would have made it quite a bit easier to lay it down. I might even been able to put it into a spreader. To mix in Milorganite with your grass seed, you can use 4 parts Milorganite for every 1 part seed by weight. Now, Milorganite is going to feed your lawn for up to 8 to 10 weeks. Its nutrients are slowly released, which means you can apply it a lot more regularly. That also means those nutrients are released into the lawn at a rate at which it can use those nutrients efficiently. The easiest schedule when you're applying Milorganite is to use the holiday schedule, as they call it. Now, the holiday schedule for southern warm season grasses like the zoysia I've got are going to be Easter, Memorial Day, Labor Day, and then October. Now, the holiday schedule for northern cool season grasses is going to be Memorial Day, July 4th, Labor Day, and Thanksgiving. Now, the Thanksgiving one for cool season grasses is going to be mid-November, after the grass has already gone dormant, but before your first frost. And the other thing they say on their website is if you can only fertilize your lawn once a year because of local restrictions or whatever, the best time to do it is going to be in the fall. Now, they recommend applying 1 32-pound bag for every 2,500 square feet of lawn you have for each of those holiday applications. Now, that 1 32-pound bag for 2,500 square feet equals just under 13 pounds per 1,000 square feet of lawn. Now, to apply it, they recommend you mow your lawn first, which is going to help more of the Milorganite get down and reach the soil. They tell you to apply half the bag going in one direction, and then we're going to apply the other half of the bag 90 degrees out going in the other direction. That's going to help ensure more even coverage. Their website has a list of all the popular spreaders and what setting to use for each one of those. Now, the good news is it's not a big problem if your calibration on your spreader is off a little bit because you can't really over apply Milorganite. Again, it won't burn your lawn, which is awesome. Now, Milorganite doesn't have to be watered in like most synthetic fertilizers, although watering in is going to help the process and going to help it have effect on your lawn quicker. So now that you're an expert on Milorganite, let's go lay some down. You see Milorganite 640, that's the NPK of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. See, it covers up to 2,500 square feet. And then this is gonna be the lawn and turf version. They also have a version which is more geared towards plants. So let's go ahead and flip it over, and then we're gonna get it into the seed spreader. Under lawn care on the back, I'm doing zoysia grass, which is a southern grass. So 32 pounds per 2,500 square feet. Notice that's what it tells you for every one of them, whether it's southern or northern. And then here's the different spreader settings and application rates. I already looked it up online. I have got a Scott's Turf Builder Edge Guard, which is gonna be an 11.5 on the spreader setting. So go ahead and turn that up to 11.5, and that should work well. That's the size opening an 11.5 is going to give me, so that should work pretty well. All right, for putting the seeds in, I'm just gonna do about half the bag at first, going this direction, and then I'm gonna do the other half of the bag going that direction. Obviously, you could weigh it out, 32-pound bags, so you're looking at 16 pounds for each of those directions. I'm just gonna eyeball it for half a bag, should be plenty close enough for what I'm doing. See what the Milorganite looks like, and you can touch it. It's not going to hurt you at all. It's all natural, organic, and it's just these little black pebbles of those kiln-dried microbes from the waste management process up in Milwaukee. So let's go spread it out. So there's the yard. Just going to go around the edge first. Again, it's just under about 2,800 square feet. So I'm gonna go around all the edges first and go around the pine straw areas with the edge guard on, and then I'm gonna go and fill in the middles. I'm gonna be going generally this direction and then generally that direction for the second half of the bag. Okay, so here's something I found a little interesting. I just did my first pass right around the edge using the edge guard on this, and I've got it set up in accordance with the website using an 11.5 as the spreader opening and the spreader setting for it. But this is all I've got left. So I don't think that's quite right. I'm gonna knock it down. I was here at an 11.5. I think I'm gonna use something a little bit smaller now to make sure I get adequate coverage. Probably go to a 6 or so, and then I'll adjust it based on how this next pass goes. All right, stop the tape. I'm jumping in to correct something I said that was totally wrong, and I need to set the record straight. The reason that putting half the bag in there only did a little bit of it on the setting of an 11.5 is because I was trying to go both directions. Remember, I was trying to go like this, and then I was trying to go like that with the setting at 11.5. Well, if you look right here on the recommended spreader settings on the Milorganite website, it talks about using an 11.5, and then over here where it says using an 11.5 and making 2 passes, up top right here, the 2 passes is for if you have a new lawn. I don't have a new lawn, I've got an existing lawn. I just needed to make 1 pass at a setting of an 11.5 covering the entire lawn. It doesn't really matter. Ultimately, I got the recommended 1 32-pound bag to cover the entire 2,500 square feet. I just did it in 2 passes going 2 different directions, which also helps ensure a nice even coverage, but you don't need to do that. So it turns out the 11.5 setting on the spreader should have been good and was probably exactly what I needed. I'm interested to see what you guys find out. Go ahead and drop your results in the comments below. Again, 11.5 seems like a little liberal for this Scott's Turf Builder Edge Guard Mini. So I've got a little less than half the bag left now, and I'm gonna go ahead and just finish up in the other direction, this time going sideways. That's all I've got for the Milorganite fertilizer. Remember, that's all natural, organic. It's those micro bugs that are kiln dried. That's made up in Milwaukee. It's kind of in short supply, but it's really good for your lawn. And remember, that's got the 640 NPK as well as that 2.5% iron, which is gonna help green up your lawn. My lawn could definitely use it right now.